Hey, I'm really happy you're here because we're about to talk about something that could change how you think about attraction. For years, women have been told that the way to get a man hooked is by acting distant, holding back and waiting for him to take the lead. But after helping thousands of women across the globe, I've learned something else: the women who truly leave a mark. The ones who have a guy smiling at 2 a.m., unable to stop thinking about them, don't sit around waiting. They don't shrink themselves or follow outdated dating advice. They take brave steps. Now, I don't mean chasing a guy or throwing yourself at someone just to be noticed. That's not brave, that's needy. Real boldness is quiet confidence. It's feeling secure in who you are, enough to show you're interested, to create a spark, and to walk away if the energy isn't returned. Bold actions make a man obsessed, not because they're dramatic, but because they're uncommon. Most people are too scared to be open, to share how they really feel, or even to show how much they're drawn to someone. But you're not like most people. In this video, I'm sharing 5 bold moves that don't just make a man notice you, they make him want more of you. These aren't mind games or sneaky tactics. They come from self-respect. Because when you truly get your own value, when you step into your fun, confident, feminine energy, you don't need to trick anyone to get attention. You become memorable without even trying. So whether you're dating, stuck in a situationship, or trying to bring back the spark with someone who's going distant, these 5 bold actions can shift the energy and help you take control of your love life again. Let's jump in. One of the boldest things a woman can do, something that stays in a guy's mind long after you've left, is being the first to give a sincere compliment. Now you might be thinking, hold on, isn't that too forward? Doesn't that ruin the mystery? But here's what I've seen. Truly confident women don't wait around to be impressed. They pay attention, they notice the little things, and when they see something real, they say it. Not to get a reaction, but because they're not scared to be on it. A lot of people in the early stages of dating play it safe. They keep their praise to themselves, afraid of looking too eager. They wait for the other person to show interest first. But that kind of caution creates distance, not connection. The kind of attraction that sticks, the kind that keeps someone up thinking about you, happens when you make an emotional impact. And one of the quickest, most genuine ways to do that is to speak up when you admire something. Let's say you're talking and he's sharing a story. Maybe it's about something he's proud of, something meaningful to him, his work, a belief, or a time he handled a tough moment. This is where most people just nod and say, cool, and move on. But not you. You pause, look at him, and say something like, I really like how thoughtful you are about that, or that kind of focus is impressive, or even just, I like that about you. Not desperate, not expecting anything, just calm and real. That kind of moment stands out. It shows him you're paying attention, that you recognize something special, that you have taste, and that he's matched it. When this comes from a woman who clearly respects herself, it's magnetic. And it's not the words that matter most, it's the energy behind them. You're not fishing for approval. You're just present and bold enough to say what others won't. And what happens next is subtle but powerful. The balance shifts. He starts thinking about you, not because you were flashy, but because you gave him a rare experience, the feeling of being seen. And when a man feels truly seen by a woman he admires, he doesn't just forget it, he gets curious. He starts wondering what else you might notice in him. Suddenly, you're not just someone he likes, you're someone he's drawn to on a deeper level. There's also something deeply attractive about a woman who knows when to leave. Not because she's bored, but because she understands the power of mystery and knows how to leave things on a high note. One of the strongest moves you can make, especially early on, is ending the time together while things still feel exciting. When the chat is good, the chemistry strong, and you're both still laughing. That's when most people try to stay longer. But the woman who chooses to go while the energy is still glowing, she sticks in his memory. She leaves him with a question. Why did that feel so good? And why do I want more of it? It works because it sparks curiosity. People love closure. We like things to feel complete. But when you leave while things are still unfolding, while the attraction is still building, you leave him with emotional tension. And that tension turns into desire. Desire becomes interest. And that interest becomes something close to obsession, in the healthy kind of way. You've now taken a good time and turned it into something he replays over and over. And here's the key. It only works when it comes from confidence. If you leave because you're nervous or unsure, it feels like running away. But if you leave with certainty, with a warm smile that says, I could stay, but I don't need to, you shine. It sends a clear message. I like being here, but I won't lose myself in it, and that's powerful. This doesn't need to be dramatic. Say the date's going great, he's into it, asking questions, leaning in. Instead of dragging things out or waiting for it to get awkward, you gently say, this has been really fun. I think I'll head out soon, but I've really enjoyed this. Simple. No big reason, no weird exit. Just a kind, confident ending. In doing that, you show him that you've got boundaries. You don't stay too long just to please someone. You know how to leave in a way that makes people wish for more. And that surprises men. They're not used to it. Most women stick around too long trying to prove their interest. But when you leave while the moment is still alive, he starts wondering when he'll get to see you again. And the best part? He'll probably reach out first, not to play games, but because he wants more of the energy you brought. When you know how to walk away while it's still exciting, you're not ending the connection, you're protecting it. It's about value. And that kind of self-control, that kind of awareness, that sticks in someone's memory. Most people don't understand how much can be shared without saying anything out loud. But when it comes to building deep attraction, there's one move that's incredibly simple, subtle, and yet surprisingly powerful. It's holding eye contact. Not just glancing, not just a quick look. I'm talking about holding it steady, warm, sure of yourself, with zero apology. In a world where most people break eye contact the second something feels real, a woman who can hold a man's gaze, even just a few seconds longer than expected, sends a message that hits deep. It says, I see you. I'm not scared of this moment. I'm comfortable here. Most people avoid doing this. Why? Because it feels very intimate. Looking into someone's eyes and staying there without nervously laughing or checking your phone is rare. It means you're really seeing them and letting yourself be seen. It creates a kind of openness that most people just aren't used to. But here's the magic, that tension, that tiny discomfort, that's exactly where the spark lives. When you hold eye contact, especially with a small, knowing smile, you build a kind of silent energy that makes his heart beat faster, and he won't even know why. Picture this. You're across from him at dinner or standing next to him at a gathering. He says something funny or a little flirty. Instead of laughing and looking away, you just stay with him. You let your eyes speak. You lean in, not with your body, but with your vibe. It sends a quiet message. I'm not rushing away from this moment. I like what I see, and I'm staying right here. That kind of presence is magnetic. Because, in a world full of distractions, a woman who's truly present is impossible to ignore. And it's not just about the moment, it's about what stays in his mind after. He'll think about that look when he's lying in bed. He'll remember the feeling of your eyes holding his. He'll wonder what was going on in your mind. He'll wonder what it all meant. And that wondering, that curiosity, it becomes a loop in his brain that's hard to close. That's how you become unforgettable. Not because you showed more skin, not because you had the perfect line, but because you gave him something real, presence and quiet confidence, something most people are too scared to offer. Holding eye contact isn't about playing games, it's about connection. It shows you're grounded enough to meet someone's energy and stay there. And the beauty is, it only takes a few seconds. You don't need to stare him down. It doesn't need to feel awkward. You just hold the look a moment longer than usual, and then let it go. That brief connection stays with him, because it wasn't forced, it was felt. And once a man experiences that kind of connection, even for a short moment, he'll crave it again and again. There's a subtle art to attraction that doesn't rely on showing skin or saying bold things. It's in the space between lightness and elegance. One of the most powerful moves you can make is teasing him, but doing it with class, not sarcasm, not being mean, not over-the-top jokes. Real teasing is warm, playful, and smart. It's about being able to play in that space between safety and curiosity without giving everything away. When a woman can tease with quiet confidence, like she knows she's attractive, but isn't trying to prove it, he can't get enough. Done right, teasing creates a fun tension. It says, I see you, I like you, but I'm not going to hand it all over that easily. That's addictive. Because men don't just want someone who agrees with them all the time. They don't want someone who's always polite just to keep things smooth. What they really want is someone who challenges them a little, playfully. Someone who makes them feel like they need to show up more while still feeling wanted. Imagine he's bragging about how great he is at cooking, trying to impress you. You could nod and compliment him, sure, but a more playful move? Give him a smile and say, oh, so you're that guy, huh? The I'll cook for you type? I've heard of your kind. That line, when said with a smirk and a sparkle in your eye, doesn't tear him down. It just adds a spark, challenge, curiosity and charm all at once. It invites him to keep showing off while telling him you're not that easily impressed. And here's the key, tone. The difference between teasing that draws someone in and teasing that turns someone off is how you say it. When your tone is easy, your eyes are soft and your smile is real, you can push and pull in a way that feels fun. But if it comes from a guarded or defensive place, it just falls flat. Classy teasing has no sharp edges. It's smooth, emotionally aware, and keeps the rhythm going. It's a dance between affection and challenge. And that's what makes it electric. It also shows you're at ease with yourself, that you don't need to play it too safe or be overly sweet just to get liked. You're comfortable, you're real, you're fun, and that energy is magnetic. It tells him, I'm not here to win your approval. I'm here to have a real moment with you. That kind of vibe is rare. Most people are either too shy to take a risk or too aggressive and forget to be kind. But you're walking that beautiful line in between. And what happens? He walks away smiling, replaying your words, wondering what you meant, and wanting to see you again. There's nothing more attractive than a woman who knows what she wants and isn't scared to say it. Not in a harsh or entitled way, but in a clear, kind, strong way. When you can say what you need, whether it's more affection, more time, more clarity, without shrinking, you instantly stand out. Because most people are afraid to be that direct. They drop hints, they avoid conflict, they stay quiet just to be liked. But the woman who says, this is what feels good to me, or this is what I need right now, without hesitation, that woman is unforgettable. Asking for what you want doesn't make you demanding, it makes you clear. And clarity is incredibly attractive. It shows you're not here to play games. You're emotionally honest. You're open. That's rare. Too many women are taught to go along with things, to be chill, to not rock the boat. But go with the flow long enough and you end up lost in someone else's story. The woman who speaks up about her needs writes her own story. And the right man, he listens. He steps up because now he sees someone worth showing up for. Let's say you've been dating and you want to hear from him more often. Instead of holding it in or making passive comments, you say, "Hey, I really like you, and I feel most connected when we talk regularly. That matters to me." That's not pushy, that's not desperate, that's honest. And when honesty is paired with self-respect, it earns respect in return. Or maybe you've been physical but are craving more emotional connection. You don't hide that either. You say, "I love our chemistry, but emotional closeness means a lot to me too. I'd love to know more about what you're looking for." That kind of truth, it's powerful. Not because it pressures him, but because it shows what you care about. That level of openness creates trust, it builds tension, it adds value. Because now he's not just with a beautiful woman, he's with a woman who knows who she is. And when you ask for what you want without shame, you teach people how to treat you well. Even if the guy in front of you isn't the one, he'll remember you as the woman who was real. Most people twist themselves to fit into someone else's version of love. But the woman who lives in her truth, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the standard. Long after the moment has passed, he'll measure every connection by the way she made him feel. So let me say this. So many women are told to play it safe, to not be too bold, to wait for him to make the move. But here's the truth that no one tells you. The women who leave the biggest mark, the ones he thinks about long after the conversation is over, are the ones who take bold, confident action while still being soft. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You don't need to act cold or detached. In fact, the strongest energy you can bring is a mix of presence and strength, charm and self-respect. Whether it's locking eyes just a bit longer, walking away while the moment still shines, teasing with a playful smirk, or calmly saying what you really want, these aren't just dating strategies. They're signs of a woman who knows herself. The kind of woman that captures a man's attention isn't the one chasing approval. It's the one inviting him into her world, making him rise to meet her, and never apologizing for wanting something deep and real. So here's my challenge for you. Pick just one of these bold moves. Try it this week. Not to control anything, but as a way to show who you really are. Watch how the people around you respond. Watch how much more confident you feel when you realize you never had to chase being chosen. You just had to show up as yourself. And the right man, he won't be able to get you out of his head. And if you're thinking, what if I mess it up? Good. That means you're stepping outside your comfort zone. Boldness isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's not about saying the perfect thing or making the flawless move. It's about showing up with truth, with courage, and letting yourself be seen. Most people are so afraid of rejection, they never even give themselves the chance to be remembered. But when you lean into your edge, when you do the thing that makes your heart race a little, that's where all the growth lives. That's where your magnetism gets turned all the way up. Because here's the secret. Men can feel when a woman is in her power. Not fake confidence, not arrogance, real embodied power. The kind that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I don't need to convince you of it. That kind of woman changes the room just by walking into it. That kind of woman doesn't chase attention, she attracts it. Not because she's trying, but because she's fully herself. That's the shift. When you stop performing and start embodying. So maybe it starts with holding that eye contact a little longer, or saying that line that feels a little daring, or expressing a need you used to silence. Start small if you have to, but start. The more you practice living from that space, the more natural it becomes. And soon, you won't even think of these things as moves. They'll just be you, the real you, the magnetic, grounded, powerful, warm-hearted version of you that was always there, just waiting to be let out. And the beautiful part? The right man, the one who's emotionally available, who's done his own work, who's ready for something real, he will see it, he'll feel it, and he won't want to play games. He'll want to rise to meet you, because when you show up in your fullness, you don't just attract attention, you attract alignment.